Dneska mám zajímavého hosta, přátelé. Je jím Jean-Yves Leconte, francouzský politik, který léta zasedal v Senátu, možná v něm bude zasedat znovu a je samozřejmě znalcem své země, její politiky, ale také střední Evropy. Neb si vzal za ženu krásnou Polku a tráví nemalý čas dnes v Polsku. Welcome, Jean-Yves, in our program of the TV Peter Bureš alternative channel, which is, say, polemical towards certain mainstream stories and narratives and so on. But we have a very, let's say, broad range of guests. For instance, Jeffrey Sachs, whom I have an honor to call Joseph and Jeff, or Gary Powers, the son of the famous pilot of the espionage plane in 1960, shot down above, let's say, Soviet Union, and then exchanged for the Soviet agent Rudolf Abel, and obviously dozens and dozens of Czech and Slovak, let's say, personalities. I'm happy to see you again in Prague. We met already some 6 years ago. And I'd like to know your opinion on, let's say, the French realities, first of all. What is your opinion on the present situation of French politics?
Complicated, as in all European Union, because it's very fragmented. And the traditional opposition between left and right is destroyed.
That's true.
It is destroyed because first, excuse me, that's...
To disturb us a little bit. Maybe I will ask my colleague to bring it to the other room.
The traditional opposition between left and right, which is, I think, a good thing in democracy, is destroyed because we cannot even say that there is three partition. It's even more than that. First, the emergence of the far right. And second, the action of Emmanuel Macron, who wanted to destroy the opposition between left and right, to explain that, in fact, there is an opposition between reasonable people and extremist people. And when you make this kind of opposition between reasonable and extremist, at the end, the extremists will win.
Is it sure? Or it's one of the options?
It's one of the options. But we have seen this option in America.
That's true. To a certain extent, yes.
And in fact, it's a problem for democracy. Because the democracy is the ability to accept that the other part will win without destroy all the system.
That's true.
Make nation is to agree the rule with the competition, with the competitor. To accept that for some things, competitor are not, you are not agree with competition, but to accept the rule and to say that if you will not win, it's not the end of history. It's not the end of the nation. And now that's the problem. And for sure, we can have this observation, you know, in France, for sure, Macron was a catalyst of that. He pushed this situation to take a part of the left, take a part of the right, and say, come with me, I will propose a pro-European project, and all the others are not reasonable, and they don't have their place in the reasonable politics. It's not like that, in fact.
So you don't agree with his matter?
I don't agree with this matter. I think, you know, the rhetoric of opposition between left and right is necessary, because that's the fuel of democracy. Debate, opposition, but to accept the rules.
I agree with you. And what is your view upon the possible outcomes of this vicious circle? What can happen now?
I mean, you know, there is the French specific situation and the global system. The specific situation is that clear because he has 2 mandates. That's the end of Emmanuel Macron as president. He cannot be president again. So for sure we will have a new situation. But it's not like that because not Emmanuel Macron will come back to the situation before. Because it's clear that the situation between left and right is not just a French story. It's, in fact, all over Europe.
Sure.
All over the developed states,
yes.
We have this kind of problem. That's clear for me that, okay, the right, I'm not right, so I'm not in a right party, so they have to do their job. If I'm speaking for the left, I think since few years, the left is not working enough to propose, to have good proposal for the new situation.
Genuine alternative is not coming. That's the problem, to my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, we have first because in fact all the socialist party, all the left party are socialist party or socialist and private party since the Industrial Revolution, and in fact all the left was constructed to improve the situation of the working class. Defend and improve the situation of the working class. And it was in this way we can have debates. Do we have to do it in democratic way, not democratic way? Discussion between different kind of vision, the way to do it. Do we have the states to own? We have to in the end of the capitalism to states. But the objective was this one, and we had a lot of discussion inside.
Does the French left defend the interests of the working class and other, let's say, unprivileged strata?
I mean, now, I think all the left party now, they didn't work enough to be ready to make proposal of the new reality of the what is the job, what is working today, what is labor today.
Plus, they are split. There is several, let's say,
they
groups.
Are split. That's clear that the way to make politics is not the same today than 50 years ago due to social network. If you are not 30 years ago, it was possible to have debates inside a party without problem. Today, it's not possible.
That's true. That's
so that's a problem because the left was divided.
Absolutely, divided alongside several, let's say, lines. What about Mélenchon? What's your opinion upon him? Jean-Luc, if I'm not mistaken.
You know, I think
difficult question.
I was, you know, if I remember him 10 years ago, 20 years ago, I have a big respect for him. Due to what he was before, he was the leader of the France Insoumise. I know that for a lot of subjects, on a lot of subjects, he has a very good sense of nuance, a very good historic vision. But he is an example of people who didn't want to work about the future of defend the working class.
Really?
Not thinking about the future of what is labor today, how to protect people. No. He is, you know, I'm not, if you have a look about what's happened in Germany on the bloc Sarah Wagenknecht. She said that the left forgets the idea of the protect the working class to speak about just social problem, society problem. I don't agree with her. I'm absolutely against her concerning his vision of migration, but it's clear that the left, to stay the left, has to work concerning that, and has to have proposal connected with the new situation. What is today the work? How we can make provident states when the borders are not the same than before? How we can protect workers during after liberalization? What is the work when you can work in one country and you can make, in fact, you can work you can have a contract in Czech Republic and to be really in Portugal if you are a teleworker. And I'm not speaking about artificial intelligence. And all these things change the vision of the work, of the job, of the way to protect the people. And I'm not sure that we have today people who are really thinking about that in the left party and to make any proposal. And because it's very complicated, they prefer to speak about equality. It's a subject.
Yes.
Equality. Fight against discrimination. It's a very important subject. But it's not the identity of the left. It's a part of the identity of the left. But you can have people from the right who have the same kind of fight.
That's true. That's true.
The identity of the left is how to improve the situation of the working class.
Tell me, what's your opinion among the rassemblement of this Marine Le Pen, Bardella, and so on? How do you see their future?
They have today the potential to that's since they can win the next presidential election.
You think so?
They can win the next presidential election.
So that she or himself? Young Bardella or
I think
Marine?
In fact, today they represent more than 1/3 of the voters in France. No one has this kind of
That's true.
coherent part of voters. And due to the situation we have since 1 year now, I mean since July, when we check, I was really afraid about the result of the last election because I was thinking that it's possible to see Le Pen and Bardella win this election.
Yeah.
I was really happy to see that a big majority of French people, they don't want to see them at power. And that's why, at the end, people of left, from the left, people from the right, they accept together to vote each other just to make, to not allow them to win. But if we are not able to show that together we can develop a certain kind of coherent politics, and that's the situation we have now, there is a risk that the next time they will not have 35% of voters, but they can have more. And with the system we have, to be at the end the winner. That's a possibility. I hope it will not be. Because for me, it's a real big risk for France and for European Union. But I'm very skeptic today. And when I see the international situation, I'm not feeling insecurity. And I know that it's not, the situation of what we have seen in America, it's not just because we are against, even if you are good and just good enough to be against, you didn't manage to win. You need to make proposal. Kamala Harris was good to be against Trump, but she proposed nothing except to be against Trump. And it's not a good thing.
Absolutely. There was no positive program. They are correct.
Yeah.
Tell me now, there is really...
And I'm looking about someone who will make a positive program.
Look, now there is not only in France, but for instance in Germany, and to a certain extent even in the Czech Republic, a situation where there is two, let's say, opposition streams, let's call it like this. In your case, it's Bardella and Le Pen on one hand, and Mélenchon and this left-wing, let's say, coalition on the other hand. In Germany, it's Die Linke and Bündnis Sarah Wagenknecht and Alternative für Deutschland. And frankly speaking, those who are in power are now still benefiting out of that. These two streams cannot cooperate. This is the only way how they can, let's say, come to power. I mean, these globalists, or we'll call them, doesn't matter, liberals and so on. Do you think there is a chance to find way how to somehow, let's say, break this barrier, and in this way also, to make more civilized those guys from AfD and Marine Le Pen, let's say, stream? Is it an adventurous idea or it's a realistic idea? What do you think?
You know, when you have an opposition between left and right, you had people, you know, 30 years ago in France, François Mitterrand was with Communist Party.
Yes.
They didn't agree concerning foreign policy, but they managed to work together.
That's true.
If
French Communist Party was a victim at the end, but okay.
Yeah, but you know that's the responsibility of the reasonable people are to keep the people a little bit more extreme and to make them work together. That's a vision of today. Let's say at the end, even if I don't agree with the strategy of Macron, the problem is that personally, I think that if you ask me about what is the most important today, is to keep European Union working. And to allow European Union to be able to develop common policy between states who want to be together, because they consider that it's together very good. It's good to be together to develop common policy, and specifically because I know that it's not very popular in Czech Republic, but.
It depends.
For me, the most important challenge for all human beings today is the environment challenge, climatic challenge.
Not the war, for instance, but the climate.
You know, the war is a creature of people, and it's a question of goodwill and to be able to be.
The climate is independent.
Yeah, I mean, that's clear. War is a problem, but if we, but since 3 years we think about war and we forget about this challenge. But this challenge is even worse 3 years today than it was 3 years ago. It's not, you know, the war is a question of political will, of political discussion. But this is a challenge quite not evident because we don't have a solution, but we see the problem.
Let me interrupt you shortly.
And to answer to that, we need to make people and to make states and countries working together.
The trouble is, to my opinion, that the objective problem, which obviously exists, is horribly abused by certain private interests of corporations and so on, which, let's say, move the only climatic story into a big business out of which they are profiting like hell, regardless of the interests of the majority of the society. And this way, it cannot work, let's say, forever. And even because of them, the objectively important topic can be, let's say, diverted, because most of the people say, sorry, you are making crazy things.
But whatever you have, you know, on each subject, you will have people who want to profit with that. But that's not because you have people who want to profit with that. That's the problem. Is not.
That's true.
You have this is a problem, and we don't have the solution. But for sure, we cannot find a solution without cooperation between countries.
That's true.
For sure, we cannot find a solution between be able to develop common policy together. Another subject, independent of that, more or less, is the numerization, artificial intelligence.
Oh, sure.
Because in fact, it's changing. You know, it's taking it's taking the power of the countries, of the people, to some oligarch.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And this is a subject for the democracy, and this is a subject for freedom, to be not controlled, to be free, to have this to guarantee the privacy of everybody.
It's a hybrid war against freedom, yeah.
And this is two subjects, and for these two subjects, we need to be able to work together between countries. If we don't work together between countries, we will leave the power to some oligarchy, and that's the problem. And that's why we need to be. European Union is maybe not is not very good, but it's the best example of be able to develop together common policy who achieve their goal.
It's a good playground, but it's not used in a necessary way. Look, you in France have big left-wing initiatives for decades, like to shorten the working hours. Okay, you are making records in Europe, and with the artificial intelligence and all the other new technologies, you can move the society, if there is a will, towards much more humanistic, let's say, milieu, shorter, let's say, working hours, more time for, let's say, free development of a personality, humanistic, let's say, formation of education, all these, let's say, strata or these spheres. What is happening, in fact, is people are working more, most of them are getting less money, and there is a danger that artificial intelligence would convert itself into a dictator above our, let's say, fate. So it's a totally perverted, let's say, version. And we spoke some minutes ago about how the French left is not, let's say, sufficient in provoking positive solutions of the key problems of today. It's not a problem only of the French left, it's a problem of the left in Europe.
The left in Europe.
Including Czech Republic, let's say.
And I will say that because another subject, historically the left, the socialist left,
yes,
was based on internationalism. Internationalism.
Sure. It's a pillar of ourselves.
But ask about Blok Sarvagnesh if she's no.
But look, again, we are blind time to time, even the left-wing groups and parties and so on. This migration wave, yeah, it's an objective problem. You have many people, let's say, from the north of Africa and so on, and you have no-go zones, and there is many troubles in France which we don't have to that extent so far. But on one hand, yes, these people have their rights, which should be somehow satisfied. At the same time, it cannot be a, let's say, weapon in the games of those who want to export chaos to Europe, to kill social, let's say, guarantees, to endanger our security and so on. And genuine internationalism doesn't mean only come and we will take care of you. No, genuine internationalism of a genuine left. So, guys, who caused all of this? Your wars? We are not those who caused these wars. It was yourself. You made big money out of these wars. Your neocolonialism, sure. So where is the money to be paid for, let's say, improving the social situation, economic situation of, for instance, these countries in the north of Africa or in the Arab, let's say, segment or Middle East? There is billions and billions of euro, dollars and so on in these, how they call it, tax havens, which are a result of a legalized financial criminality. We know it. I mean, they don't pay taxes and they are, let's say, this money are there. Why the left cannot, let's say, connect itself in a big fight for that those who are guilty for this migration, let's say, waves, should pay the bills. And the money to pay the bills are in the tax havens. Nobody says it. And we are disputing within the left, should we be more soft or less soft with these guys who are coming here from the north of Africa and Middle East? It's a very blind and one-sided policies. I'm not against solidarity with these people, but our policies cannot be limited only that, they have their own rights, so let's...
but I think all these debates concerning migration is not correct. Because in fact, it's not a. If it's global,
Yes.
You will not find a solution. Nobody will say. Nobody will defend. I mean, nobody. Maybe some people, but. We don't say, it's not that it's open border or closed border. It's not so easy.
Yes. We should solve the causes.
First, but if you want to, first,
yes,
have a look. If, okay, we say that. But you know that to make the trip from one country where you believe that you don't have you can't find your futures. To go to a country where you think you have you can have a future. You need money.
Yes.
For example, Venezuelan people. That's one of the countries with the worst situation, social situation, and the worst situation in the world. They didn't go to Europe. They don't need visa. Why? Because they don't have money. First, if you start to develop a country, if you see a country with a start of development, this country at the beginning, it will make more people with enough money to go outside of the country. You know, I'm living in Poland. You know but we had this situation in Baltic state too. The year where you had a lot of Polish people going outside of Poland, it was 2004. The year where a lot of people were going out of Baltic state, it was 2004. The first year where it was possible. But it was the first year that, in fact, they can believe that the future of the country is guaranteed because they are a member of the European Union. And they go out, they go to Britain. Why? Because they believe that it was not possible before. And they start to have the money. And they start to have the possibility to do it. Well, in fact, if you say that, okay, I agree with you, in a long term, for the solution, in a long-term solution, yeah, the development of the country of origin is the result. But to achieve that, you need to accept that in the short term you will have mobility. Because you cannot, it's not development or if you give money if you help them to develop, first, it's not working. To be really developed, it seems the development has to be done by the country by himself. How many countries are really just corrupt because I will not give the country, but you have people, you have country, you know, they are good to cooperate with France. You have people from this country not in legal situation. We want to give them back. The country takes them, everybody. Because of that, the country gets money. Yes. They get money from France because we are happy. We have a good cooperation. But the money is not to develop the country. The money is for the pocket of the internal minister. And they prefer to push other people and they say, okay, we have a good cooperation because they take back the people. It's stupid.
But there is a big difference among certain things. Look, the generations of Arabs, for instance, who were coming to Renault and to other automotive companies to work in the 60s, they were going alone. Their families were at home. They made money and they came back. And the companies like Renault and Peugeot and so on, they're selecting those who are somehow qualified for this job. And everything was kept within, let's say, reasonable limits. There were no-go zones and similar things that time. Now there is a totally different...
No, I'm not agree with you. Because, in fact, no, I'm not agree with you. You know, as I am representing the French people living abroad, I will say you. First, the best way to be integrated in one country is to work.
Oh, yes.
Second, you cannot be integrated in a country if you are not with your family.
Okay. If the condition is that I'm working, okay.
Yeah, but in fact, no. And it's not so easy. I can do it. I can explain you for France, but it's not so easy when you are working in France and you are foreigner and your family is, for example, in Burkina Faso, to get the authorization for your family to come. You have to show that you have condition, you have enough money, you have condition to accept them, and it's not so easy.
Then tell me where the no-go zones appeared. How?
The no-go zone is the problem. Is not the first generation.
It's the third generation. I know.
The
we
first,
are living there.
know, the problem is not the first generation, because the first generation, they know that they are coming to change their life, and they want to do everything. They don't come for social. No. They come to work, and they want to find a work, and they are able to work very strong. And
I agree.
They don't
I agree.
even for them. It's not even a problem if someone tells, okay, you are not from France. Because they know that. They know that they are not French. And they accept that each day we remember to them that they are not French. It's maybe not very nice, but they know. I'm not saying that it's necessary to do it. No, it's not good. But they accept. But the second generation, because we say, because of they don't have the good name, they don't have the good color.
There is a frustration.
They don't know another country than France, but on the eyes of the French people, they are not French, and they see that. In fact, they think that they are French. They know that. They don't know another country. They are from France. But for the other French, they are not
equal. They are not equal. I
understand. All the time they okay, I see that I'm not considered as a French people. That's a big problem.
Yeah,
that's a big problem. That's a big discrimination, and that it's making a lot of difficulties. And we have to work about that. And here, Jean-Luc Mélenchon is right when he's speaking about that.
Sure. It's not, the solution has many, let's say, elements needed. Let's come to the situation of the French economy. There is high debt, and there are quite big troubles in terms of the economic growth and all of this. How do you see the situation and the future?
Yes, the financial situation is not good. The cost of the debt starts to be very problematic, specifically if the interest rate will raise or will stay at this level than now, because we can have a situation where very quickly the cost of the debt will be more. The cost of the debt will be more than the revenue of the income tax.
Exactly.
Of the income tax.
It's a bankruptcy then.
That's a part of the situation. The second part of the situation is the French people are not poor, and there is a lot of savings. So it's, the state is not in a good situation, but the people in the country are not in so bad situation.
But not all of them.
Not all of them. But if you make the addition of, if you have a look about the situation of the saving.
Deposits are big. I understand.
Deposits. Life insurance. So it's not like that the country is full bankruptcy. There is a problem. There is problem of the second thing is that it's not the same with Greece 10 years ago. The part of the cost, the tax, cotization are quite important in France, which makes that it's not easy to say, okay, we will put 5% more of tax and we will manage the situation. It's not so easy.
That's true,
but first, we have very big inequality.
That's it. There's a big social polarization here. Income polarization.
We have a lot of inequality between people.
Exactly.
So we need to change it.
How?
We need
Sorry for.
We need to put a little bit. We need to allow people to get less, to get better income, to make the situation with social cotization more equal. We have social cotization who are low for low salary and big for big salary. And we need to change a little bit that.
That's true.
To allow people to get, if you have the lowest salary plus 10%, it's costing a lot for your employer to give you a little bit more because the cotization will change. That's a problem. The second is that we have we need to push more production. We have a problem of industrialization of the country, desindustrialization of the country.
Exactly, like hell.
Yeah, and this is a big problem because, in fact, if you have not industry, you cannot allow the people to industry is like that you can start at the beginning and at the end of your life to be boss of the company. If you have just services, you stay connected with the level you had at the beginning.
Absolutely.
So it's important to push reindustrialization of the country. That's clear. That we have to but the situation of the debt of France is at the same level than America.
Yeah, but America has a big fist. That's a big difference.
The proportion of the debt is the same.
I understand, but the US have dollars as a special currency which they can print, let's say, as they call it, covered only by a thin air.
You think that, but do you believe that it will, we come back to the first discussion we had.
You remember it even, yeah?
About, no, not 6 years ago, but at the beginning of this discussion. Do you believe that with the competition of crypto money, the situation of dollar, which is a good thing for America, will keep?
That's a big question mark for me.
I'm not sure.
Big question mark for me. I'm not an expert in this very specific sphere so much so that I can say you yes or no. I know there is a certain attempt to attack, in fact, the hegemony of dollars through crypto.
That's clear that there is a lot of countries who want to do that, but I think that people who want to make crypto money, crypto value, in fact, crypto are not under the control of states.
That's true.
Crypto are not under the control of political, even
central banks and so on.
Central banks, even when we say that central bank is independent, the central bank is a tool to make a public policy.
But there is certain sources which claim that some, let's say, secret services and so on, they penetrated into the key positions within those who are running cryptocurrencies, and in fact, it's a big game of special services beyond. I don't know.
No. Maybe yes, maybe no.
You are not sitting around the table. You are correct.
But it's clear that it's not under the control of central banks. There was discussion. We had it was clear that it was a big question for Joe Biden to make cryptocurrency under control.
Yeah.
And Trump is opening that. And I think it will be very hard for America to keep his dollar as a not problem for a problem for the rest of the world, but not for America. If they do that, but to come back to France, the situation we had since few years is really preoccupant, because we start in few years, starting COVID, we have adapted.
Yes, the same with us. Yeah.
I mean, not at the same,
almost everywhere. Yeah.
Not at the same level, and that's clear that for France it's really problematic. But in fact, Britain, America, Japan are at situation. Even Japan is even worse.
You know who I like very much out of your authors? Emmanuel Todd. Do you like him? Sociologist.
Let's say that I'm really reserved about a lot of his analysis.
You're reserved. Okay, but his three key books, the first one from the mid of the 70s, when he was forecasting the collapse of Soviet Union based on demographic, let's say, statistics, but he was very young that time. He's 1 year older than myself. And somehow the result came, and he became, let's say, famous. Then his book, L'après l'Empire, or how is it in French, Po Imperiu in Czech, which was issued at the beginning of this, let's say, century, forecasting the collapse of the US. You perhaps saw this book. It's a perfect book. He's saying, look, whenever the dollar would lose its power, the standards of living in the US will drop by more than 50%. He's calculated. And now his last book, how in French you call it, I don't remember. I have an English version through the computer translation. It's called the Defeat of the West. It's something like this. I really propose to you to read it, because he knows how to see the future of certain trends I think in a very bright way. He's a very talented man, but okay. It's your choice. What do you think about your compatriot?
As I told you, for me, it's my first conviction that today the most important subject we have to solve are international subjects who need international cooperation. And for me, European Union is a good example of what we can build to answer to this kind of challenge. We can have a discussion. Do we have to change the European Union to be more federal or less? In my opinion, I am to go further in integration, but I know that it's not popular today. But I know that there is a lot of people who don't want to change that, but who want to keep European Union as a tool to make common policy. And when you have, I think that people who, because they have talents, because they can work, because they are in position to explain people that there is possibility in the world like it is today to find solution alone against the rest of the world, they are just lying.
Yeah, the trouble is, look, the European Union as such would be theoretically a good playground or tool whatsoever. But unfortunately, are you happy with what the European Union is doing? In Czech Republic, for instance, we are shocked. Almost everything which is going from there is destructive. I mean, it's destructive for industry, even for peace, sorry to say it. It's militarization of the EU is horrible. I mean, 800 billion euro to to be pumped into some militaristic projects.
But what we want to do, what you want to do, in fact, it will be really happy. I will be really happy to not have to do it.
Look, it would not work. It would be money which will be swallowed by big sharks for absolutely stupid, let's say, projects. There is no way how this Western Europe can be on equal positions with the Eastern powers without the United States. It does not work. It would not work. It's a nonsense. Let's say our debate, if you agree, through your wish. What is your vision? What is your key item for the future of Europe as a territory where there is France, there is Czech Republic, there is Poland where you are living also. What is the key hope of yourself for the next 7 years?
I would like to see Europe to be first. Europe. I would like to see Europe free, independent.
Yes.
Europe to give to the rest of the world an example of countries able to work together to achieve the challenge we have together. Climate change, numerization, artificial intelligence, and to see, all European free, well-informed, and living in just condition.
This I would sign immediately.
I would like to be able to do it, to see that from Lisbon to Ekaterinburg.
Super. I would agree with you upon this.
I would like to see. I would like to see.
Yes.
That the French-German example of reconciliation between Russia, Ukraine, and the country of Central Europe.
Obviously, there is a peace, development, let's say, and no chauvinism in the relations among them. I would be happy as well. I think that we will agree upon immediately and 100%. Thanks a lot for our debate.
Thanks a lot.